Yeah, so let's kind of get into like your background a little bit, Joe. Like, how did you get into the tech space as well as like the content creation space?
Yeah. Should I give you? I'll give you like the fast version about my career here. Let's
Yeah, give
see.
us a high
I'll give
level
you the.
overview.
I'll give you maybe I'll give you the moderately long version. Well, no, I'll give moderately short. Whatever. I'll give you a version. How about that?
Okay.
Yeah. So I was a computer science major, but I graduated and I didn't know anything about computers or programming or how to do anything. I was doing Microsoft development as a consultant for during the Ballmer years. Microsoft is cool now. Microsoft was not cool when I was doing it. Ballmer was not it was not a cool
Yo,
Microsoft.
Balmer is really cheesy. Am I right?
Yeah. Developers. Yeah, that's that was me during those years. And then my girlfriend, she got a job down in Honolulu, Hawaii, and I moved down there with the intention of giving up programming forever because I hated it and I sucked at it.
Wow.
I ended up getting hooked up with like the local surfer hacker punk community down there. And I ended up just spending all my time indoors programming. Like we make like art projects together, hackathons, just like do fun stuff. And becoming one of the lead technical instructors at one of the top 10 best developer boot camps in the world. And then I just like, it was in Hawaii. I was like super involved with the tech scene down there. And then, I did it for a couple of years, realized I was like making no money. You probably know this, Hawaii is very expensive. And like, unlike Silicon Valley, the wages don't remotely cover. I was making like Ohio wages and like paying San Francisco rent.
That's crazy. That's literally insane.
It was I couldn't. I was like, I couldn't do it. So I realized I had to like move back to the mainland. So I did that. Started working for Best Buy, which you may not know this either. It's the third largest e-commerce site in North America behind Amazon and Walmart. And I re-architected the front end, which is really fun. I'm actually really proud of the work we did there.
Were you involved in like their transition to online? Where they did
that was before, like it was like starting to rise before I got there. They were on like Ember and Backbone. I brought us up to server rendered React components, and then like everything we have to do is built for scaling up for Black Friday. So like everything, it's just like these massive scalability problems we have to solve, which is super fun. Anyway, I started doing streaming on Twitch, writing and doing stuff, and while I was doing that job, and it was I was traveling around the world giving technical talks about my work. Best Buy was not super supportive of it. And so then I quit and left. And then I got hired by MongoDB, and I've been doing that ever since.
What were you streaming on Twitch? Were you coding? Were you a streamer?
Yeah,
like
coding. I was doing live coding. This is back in like 2014. I don't do it much anymore on my own channel, but just doing live coding. I do like little tutorials.
So fun to watch on Twitch, TVH. Like you're like the perfect streamer to watch. I think to watch.
I mean, I'm biased. But I totally agree with you.
I'm a little tad biased.
Don't ever talk to any of my haters. They're totally wrong. No, I don't do much, but I do stream for like MongoDB as a Twitch channel. I stream on there occasionally. I'm also making YouTube video content for them right now and written content.
We gotta check that out. I didn't know you did YouTube.
I just started. I don't know. I've been actually less active on TikTok recently because I've been focusing on YouTube content. I'm sure you guys know it. I'm new to this stuff. I suck at it. It's like it's so hard. Fucking hard.
It's hard.
It is. It's hard. It's a hard process. Like especially like managing your time, which platform you're going to be on.
Totally.
Right. And that's the hardest part for me too.
I can't do multiple. I'm so like maybe Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn, which is weird. And then I'm trying to do YouTube now too. It's just like a lot of work. It's hard to manage all of them and like have a full-time job. I'm sure I'm preaching the choir here. Managing like a social life, like a social media life, is really challenging.
So what was some of your main motivations to like start doing social media? Are you trying to like monetize something, or are you just like trying to network? Like, what's your whole goal?
I'm sure you guys can relate to this too. Because I was a lead technical instructor, and I felt like when I became at a boot camp, so I was like teaching every day. And then I became a technical lead. I was still like doing internal teach outs, but I had this like fire in my gut that I couldn't stop. Like I just wanted to like keep teaching and helping and growing. So I just like I felt like I had to do it. It was like this only outlet I could have to do it. No, I still have never monetized any of my channels. I've never. But I haven't really needed to. That's the nice part about our industry, though. It's like I feel like I get compensated pretty well with my job. I would love to do content full time, though. I'm sure like you guys would too. Like have a channel that you kind of support. Well, you could do that full time.
Yeah, definitely.
So mainly it was because like you stopped teaching, so like this was your only way to get like that same satisfaction without actually
Yeah.
teaching. That makes sense.
I'm curious, what about y'all? Like why do you have this? Why do you have the podcast? What's the motivation for it? Or even
I
like
mean, the
TikTok?
That's a
motivation
good
for it is
question.
really- we wanted a place where we can like, you know, shoot the shit with like friends that we've
Yeah.
met through TechTok, and also for us it's good networking for us too.
Oh,
You know, because then
totally.
we actually get to like sit down with like, you know, content creators like you and like talk about real issues or just your past in general.
Mm.
And I think just the networking aspect is like huge for us. Oh, for me at least.
100%.
Yeah.
Were you guys like? Have you guys ever been on the tech like conference speaking circuit at all?
No,
I have
No,
what is
no,
that?
I haven't.
That scares me.
Oh yeah, that
No.
you should. I mean, like so, like
Whoa.
pre-COVID, like that's how I met everybody. It was like, and it's like wild because I think you guys have figured it out for like COVID, and I think like in-person conferences are coming back. I think everything's gonna be hybrid, but like it's gonna be coming back. But the biggest thing that's been helpful for my career is like getting into conferences and like getting access to the speaker room or speakers dinners.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Like
you can have dinner with,
speaking or being
Yeah,
like
yeah.
in the audience or both.
both, yeah. So
Okay.
like usually if you go to a conference, they'll usually have like an event to say thank you for all the speakers coming out. So you can like sit next to the guy who invented Vue or React, or like
Whoa.
you can
That's
sit
sick.
with the people on the
Whoa.
Node steering committee, or like head of the Linux Foundation, or like whatever. Like that's the place where you like really get to like meet people.
All
and,
right,
like, get
Joe. Well, I
connected.
mean, I'm gonna need you to let me know the next time. You I'll be
for
right
real.
there with you.
Yeah, for real. Like you guys should check it out. Like I'm just starting to see in-person conferences come back, and I think it's a really good way to like boost your personal brand in the community too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is amazing for virtual, and you should continue to do it. I'm seeing like people like Scott Hanselman, I think does that really well with Hanselman
Yeah.
and his
Yeah.
YouTube video, and like he's huge, right? Like he's got a really good balance, I think, personally.
Yeah.
And
Ooh, but he does a lot.
I know, I don't know how he does
he's like
it.
a super dad as well.
he's got
as
a family.
like-
I know.
right.
Yeah, I don't understand Scott Hanselman's next level productivity.
Yeah.
But he's very good at everything he does. He's a
Joe, I think we
huge
have a
model for that.
question for you
Oh yeah.
from Pat.
Is that from Rubber
I think
Duckies?
Yes.
You want to read it? You read it out.
Okay. It says, Joe, what's the main goal of your career right now, and why MongoDB versus other companies?
Yeah, good question. My main goal in my career. I think everyone in this chat can probably relate to this too. Let me know otherwise. But like, I feel like I don't know. I can barely know what I'm doing for like the week, and I have like a gut. And like things have been moving so fast this year with COVID. Like, I was not into content creation pre-COVID, and like now it is, and like trying to like figure out what that looks like, and I'm learning. I'm very bad at it, and like I have a lot to learn, but you know, I think I'm getting better at it, and I think I have good taste with it, and it's just like my skills need to match up to my taste level right now. Yeah, I don't know. I would love to have a channel where I could kind of manage my own, like being self-employed by that would be amazing. I think that's still ways off. I would love to do that, but I mean, really, I love building stuff. I love working for companies that like deal with like massively scalable tech. I think that's super cool. I love working on big, hard problems. That's a lot of money in solving hard problems. And I think I'm realizing too, like becoming like the smartest person in tech is an extremely challenging thing to do. And you have to be very smart to get like famous from being smart in tech. And I'm not that smart. But I do think I'm good at talking and like sharing and like breaking hard technical concepts down. I know, right? I feel like, right? I just read this thing the other day. I posted about this on Twitter, but like it's very hard to become the top 1% of one thing. But if you start combining 2 or 3 skills together, it's very attainable to become the best at that thing.
Yep.
Have you heard that from Tim Ferriss?
Yes.
Tim
yeah,
Ferriss
exactly.
always talks about that. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's like being the best programmer is hard, but if you're a statistician and programmer, being the best of those two is much more attainable. Yeah. And I think for even the people in this podcast right now, I feel like we're good at tech, but also talking about tech. And that's like a deadly combo, which I think is desperately needed in this industry.
I like to think of it like kind of like an SQL query. Like if you're querying on like one field, you get like thousands and thousands of field of like entries. But if you query on 2 fields, you might get like 5, like 5 total. So it's like, okay, well, if I'm querying on like multiple, then I'll be like have a better chance of
Nice
being successful on
analogy,
that.
by the way.
That's the way I kind
like
of think about it.
But you can also do that in a MongoDB database as well.
True, it
Yes.
has to be
Yeah.
MongoDB.
Both of them were. They're totally the same. No, that's such a good point, though. You really filter them down too,
Mhm.
and I think you get really niche. And that comes up a lot too, like whether you're generalist or niche or like whatever. And there's definitely advantages and disadvantages doing both. Like I was
Yeah.
just a straight up programmer for a big Fortune 500 company. Cool, that's great. But yeah, now I do like developer advocacy and software engineering for a large database company. That I'm definitely more niche now, and I think that's like, but I'm way more, I don't know what's the word, valuable for that specific niche.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I'll be honest,
Yeah.
I don't know many people who like work for a company and they're like passionate about like the product that the company's building, like as an employee, maybe as a business owner. But when I like think of like Joe Karlsson, like I can tell that you're passionate about MongoDB and you're trying to like get other people to use it.
Yeah.
Would you say that you're passionate about MongoDB, and if so, why?
Yeah, I mean, it's always hard. I think that whenever you see someone working for a company and you hear them talk about it, like I try to make jokes about that in my talks. Like I'm gonna sound like a shill, like one way or another, and I think you do have to sound excited about it. And like if you had asked me when I was working at Best Buy, am I excited about selling heating support and refrigerators? Probably not. But I think that there are still things you can be excited about, even if you don't really give a shit about your company.
Definitely.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, even today, I mean, I spent most of my time talking about these cool, unique scalability problems I solved at Best Buy. I didn't talk much about how many more refrigerators I was able to sell for.
Yeah, it's like even within a job where you're not totally crazy about everything on it, there might be specific projects you've done where they're like, oh, this was something super cool that I did. But it's like now I'm not working on something as cool, but it's like, it's like you'll talk about what you liked and what you didn't like. It's just
100%. Yeah. I do feel lucky though. Like MongoDB is really cool. And the reason why I do like being like a developer advocate and software engineer for them is like, it's really easy to talk about my job. Like most people know about MongoDB. So I'm not like trying to like sell you on this thing you haven't heard of. And like MongoDB, it's a database, and like every app has a data component to it. It's like, it's super easy for me to write and talk about because it's like everyone needs to say data. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like my biggest talk I've ever given is I call it Intro to IoT parentheses Internet of Toilets. And I built a internet connected kitty litter box. And we talk about how cool, like, oh, by the way, MongoDB happens to be the best database for storing IoT type data too. But you know what I mean? It's like, it's so fun and easy, and it can get creative even with like weird niche.
So for me personally, I just use PostgreSQL for my web apps. If you're trying,
I love Postgres, beautiful.
But I know if you're trying to persuade someone like me to switch over to MongoDB, what would you tell that person to try to get them to switch? Why is MongoDB the best database for your web apps? Tell me why.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you, it depends. There are good reasons why you would want to continue using Postgres over MongoDB. I don't know. Let me give some examples of why you'd want to continue using over MongoDB first. So, like, if you had for example, I think a thing that people don't strongly consider is engineering culture. So, let's say like your entire org is already, you have 1,000 SQL developers who are experts and know PostgreSQL forwards and backwards. Probably a bad business decision to swap a database out for MongoDB if you're like already in a Postgres relational culture. Probably bad use case. I will say though, MongoDB is actually pretty great general use case. Actually, in my experience too with my job, I find that like there's a lot of common misconceptions about MongoDB. Like we're not a schema-less database. Like you can enforce schemas on a database level. You can do joins across collections. You can do like complex relationships. You can also, it's also ACID compliant. So you can run multi-document transactions that are ACID compliant. For me, it really feels like everything, and it's just easier to like. The other thing too, I think that people compare Postgres and MongoDB to is Postgres has a JSON blob storage. Cool. So you can still save things as JSON like documents. And the other thing is too, the newer versions support horizontal sharding. But let's do the horizontal sharding first. Horizontal sharding is possible. It's also insanely complicated.
Sounds complicated.
Tried to
sharding
actually set it up or
sounds
looked at the documentation. Yeah, I'm saying sharding, not sharting.
Yeah. That would be bad.
Doge house here.
We know what that means, guys.
Yeah, I did shart with a T earlier, but sharding with a D is different. Yeah, it just means you can split things up sideways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I shit my pants. That's all I'm trying to say. I shit my pants.
And it was really difficult.
It was really difficult. And then JSON blob storage with Postgres. Like you can totally do it, but like still indexing, searching, and like validating is really difficult too, or impossible. I don't think you can validate yet at like a document level on there too. There's pros and cons. It can do a lot. Okay, one more thing about it. I do think I think databases are like going through a monumental shift right now. And like I'm seeing NoSQL databases like MongoDB are becoming more like relational databases, but we're also seeing relational databases become more like NoSQL databases. Like everyone's learning and growing from each other. And I think that's better for developers.
I think like, you know how like people say like, oh, life's not black and white, it's more gray, right?
Yes.
That's how databases are too. You know,
they're totally
not NoSQL or just SQL. It's like somewhere in the middle is the best one, right?
I totally agree. So, I totally agree. Yeah. And you know what? And like I'm coming from the software developer perspective. I don't give a fuck about the architecture and the all I want is to save some data and I want to get it back relatively quickly. And I don't want it to crash on a Saturday.
You know, you're just using the tool, right? It's just a tool, right?
Exactly.
It's like, whatever tool works, you're gonna use that, right?
Yeah. There's no silver bullets.
Nothing complicated. Exactly.
Use what works. That TLDR, use whatever works. MongoDB, I think, is really easy.
Yeah,
it works great. And
I'm a big fan of Firebase. I've been using Firebase.
Ooh,
Firebase. Yeah, they're awesome. Their content's amazing. They're so. You know what? I think that they. Okay, so here's my thing with Firebase. They're amazing. They're super easy to use. They're hard to scale up to. Like you can't do like.
The only thing is the scalability, right?
Oh,
really?
It's
really fucking expensive.
Yeah. It gets expensive really quickly.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, I will say this too about document database with the AWS because they do a MongoDB fork, but they're built on Aurora, which is a relational database, so they can't scale either. And what usually happens is you get these exponential price curves on database, which is like weird. I don't know, and it's something that most of us don't care about. But if your boss is paying the AWS bill, he may care about.
Exactly.
I'm lucky I've never been the person in charge of paying the AWS invoice every month, but if that's something you care about.
I'm sure for a lot of places it's pretty steep.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I'm also really lucky none of my personal projects have been successful and had a massive number of users sign up for them.
Yeah, that sounds like a big headache.
Dude, that's such a good point.
I've been blessed to have zero hits.
I've also been blessed where everything's just failed. You know, nothing's succeeded yet. Where I've had to pay a fat bill.
Reddit hug of death. Yeah. I don't have to worry about that.
Right when you have to pay that fat bill, it's not great and it's not fun anymore, right? So.
Oh, totally. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. There's pros and cons to everything. I feel like I'm not going to bullshit you until it's going to solve all problems, but it's good for like if you're spinning up something quick and it scales up and it's like moderately cheap. So.
It's just like it's the same thing as picking your programming language. You know, you have to pick the right one for the job you're doing, right?
Yeah. No one asks a handyman if he like what's better, like a hammer or a screwdriver. It's like
exactly
whatever works better for whatever you're doing. You know,
it's like I'm trying to build a native iOS app, and it's like telling me to like build it in JavaScript. It's like no, you're not going to use JavaScript for that. Like you have to use it's impossible. Swift. You know.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Oh, totally. Yeah,
so
I totally agree.
Depends on your use case is like the best answer. But if you say something is the best. It may not be, but you'll get a lot of engagement on the internet because people will get
mad. That's for sure, right? If you're like, yo, this is the best and here's why, right? Like, and you say that, but then you'll also get those people who are like, hell no, man.
Oh, totally. Starting a flame war is pretty fun. Yeah, you got to be careful what you're asking for, though, if you're wading into those waters.
That's true.
Oh, I love that.
So how much of your time is like spent doing development and tech related stuff, making content? How much is it spent like doing like more hobbyist activities like outside of work, would you say, during COVID when everybody's all bored and has nothing to do?
I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts on this too.
Okay.
So I don't code nearly enough. Like right now, maybe super like 10% of my time a week is spent.
Wait, really?
Coding. Yeah, maybe if I'm lucky.
Then do I need to continue practicing coding? I'm just kidding.
I know. Isn't that weird? I feel like the more senior you get, the less time you spend in time.
Okay.
True. Because you get other people to do it for you.
That's true. I mean, juniors, or like juniors or tech leads. And like my job is more like right now I'm like massively coordinating communities and like educating massive developer communities about like how to program. So it involves a lot of like work and planning and questioning and trying to figure out what they need.
Do you miss it?
Trying to make that content.
Do you want to code more?
Every like quarterly review. I'm like, can I code more? And like,
Yeah.
it's not gonna fucking happen. I would love it to. I mean, I know we'd be able to code outside of work. We do like we do a couple hackathons a year, like internally, and I get some good coding time done. And like, right now I'm working on a demo for a big MongoDB.live conference, and like I'm working on like a technical demo component to it. So I'm coding that up for like a presentation, which is fun. But it's different.
Almost contributed to MongoDB during Hacktoberfest last year.
Oh yeah.
But then I don't know. I forgot the lady that like was
Shiri.
coordinating it from your. Okay,
Yeah. Shiri's awesome.
I was gonna do it, but then I got scared. I was like, I don't want to mess this up. So.
Oh no! She would have loved it. That would have been so. Next year, you totally should. Next year, or like hit me up.
Yeah, I'll try this year.
I think we gave her on like cool T-shirts or swag or something.
Yeah. I love free swag. So
that was the first time we did that. I'll have to pass on that.
Missed out on the free swag, dude.
Yeah, I know.
That's the only reason I've ever gone to any hackathon or anything.
Oh,
I just take the free shit and leave.
Eat the free pizza and soda.
For real. Yeah. I literally go for the food, the free shit, and then like you work for like an hour and you're like, all right, that's good enough.
I'm out of here.
And then you troll people that are actually trying to be productive.
No, dude, like for a lot of hackathons, right? Like there's dudes who are like there to win. And it's like, I'm not trying to face you right now. You know, like I'm just here to eat food, talk to people, and leave, you know, like that's it.
That sounds like so much fun.
It's scary. Like, honestly, so I was like, when I was in Hawaii, I was started getting into competitive hackathoning. Like, we got so good at it. Like, just like picking a category up. My strategy was I pick a category I thought no one would apply for it, and then we just nail every single bullet point on there. So
that's a good strategy.
But the thing is too, like prizes really can attract really scary people to that. Like if you have $1 million cash prize for a hackathon, like,
exactly,
you're gonna be attracted to
you're gonna get some
scary
crazy people. And it's like there's a lot of people who have like they already have pre-built components. They have a pre-built backend, right?
If you're not in it to win it, you're fucked.
All they do is connect the data and they're done. Like they've got that shit going. So they just need to come up with a good idea on the spot. So it's hard to compete with those dudes.
No. Yeah, I think that's something hackathon organizers don't consider too, is like how their prizes affect the mood of the conference.
Definitely.
Actually, if I plan I've planned a couple hackathons. My biggest one I've planned is the stupid shit and terrible ideas hackathon, where you just built purposefully terrible ideas. Like someone made an app where
there's a hackathon for that?
Yeah, I built it. Yeah, it's like supposed to be like an anti-corporate hackathon. Because I hate like. It just feels like you're building, like, I don't want to build, I don't give a shit about AT&T's API. Like, I don't care. But they're paying for this thing, they want me to use it. But the idea was like to be an anti-corporate hackathon. We did it, like GitHub sponsored us, a couple of people, it's cool, Microsoft did too. But like someone built an app where it only takes photos when you shake the camera, so it only takes blurry photos. Or a flashlight that only works when it's light out. Or someone made like a 6-foot cube, fidget cube. Yeah, or like someone made like a smart butt plug. It was just like fun, goofy little art projects.
Oh man, that's great.
And that's where the IoT kitty litter box came out of. It was I want to make this like stupid shit project, a project about shit, and then it became this litter box thing. But I don't know. I think that there's something fun about this line between just dumb ideas and something that's kind of genius, or like putting a chip in something that like no one would expect, and like
there's cool. Definitely like that's why they say in a brainstorming session you should never shoot ideas down, because the craziest ideas actually like bring your brain into an area where it's like that's where the genius is too, right? It's in the same area as the crazy, you know, like
totally.
When you go over there, it's like that's where the great ideas come from.
Because a lot of people don't go there.
I'm sorry. Are you just gonna gloss over a smart butt plug?
Let me paint a picture for you about this butt plug. So it
please,
was
paint a picture for us.
Yeah,
it was,
please.
I mean, it was butt plug shaped, but it had like LED lights in it. They'd carved it out and put like a bunch of like IoT sensors in it, like moisture sensors, temperature sensors, barometers. And then it was all powered by a Raspberry Pi. So these wires coming out of it into like a mobile Raspberry Pi that you'd put in your pocket.
Oh wow!
We didn't get unfortunately a live demo.
It was a wired device.
It was a wired device.
I don't think I want to see a live demo.
Oh my god!
Yeah, we requested one. We didn't get one. It was whatever. You know, honestly, like I don't think that exact prototype could have been mass produced, but like if
I mean, you
embed
probably
it,
need to
but-
create your own PCB for it or something.
Oh,
right?
totally.
Like, right?
I wouldn't be like they have smart vibrators. I wouldn't be surprised if someone comes out with a smart butt plug,
Yeah.
or if it's already out.
Someone should do it. Someone
if
in
it's
the audience right
wired,
now,
They
create that
need to
thing
work on the wireless component first.
and then
Yes.
sponsor our videos, and then we'll promote.
Yeah, we'll
Actually,
promote
this is
it.
why I did see conference talk in Oslo.
I'm down. I'm down.
The wildest project I built was like because you can use the Bluetooth protocol in the browser, and someone connected up on those Bluetooth
Yes.
wireless vibrators, but it would vibrate your vibrator whenever there was someone's like or like having an orgasm in porn. So there was like they like trained a model to like recognize it. It was wild. I did a whole conference talk about this. They used scenes from Buffy the Vampire Slayer for like fighting to like test it out. It was hilarious. We died.
That's hilarious.
The power of technology. That's all.
This is what we're doing. Yep.
This is what we're
doing.
That's what's up, man. That's what makes it fun, right? Like the fact that we can do that is like the coolest part.
Yeah.
Like
totally.
It is. It's the fact that like we can come up with dumbass ideas and actually like
we can make it a thing, and you're like, wait, why is this a thing? But it's like,
totally.
Who cares? It's just a thing because we can do it. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Exactly.
Actually, like like the internet and tech and computers is like the defining characteristic of our generation. Like that's what defines us, like our use of the internet, and like everyone here and people listening, we're uniquely positioned to explore that as an artistic medium, and I don't think many people are.
Whoa! What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
I think that like there is like I don't know, like internet connected art installations or like this digital graffiti board or like they're like traditional artists can't explore the space that we have the knowledge to be able to explore, and I think that like this thing is what defines all of us. You know what I mean? And I feel like blessed I can explore this medium. I think that's so cool. I don't know. That inspires me.
Yeah. Do you think that gives like tech nerds, like, or just nerds in general that may not have been creative in their life, like this kind of gives them a platform to be creative and like make art?
I don't think so. I'm sure you guys have seen this too. Like if you go on Hacker News or Reddit or like Twitter, the thing you're going to see over and over again is like hustle and side business and launch a startup and like make money. And that is not about like exploring for fun or making art.
I think that's really interesting because like, so for example, so I know for a fact that like Apple, when they're trying to hire software developers, they prefer people that like do things outside of development that's like artistic. Like they like hiring comedians, writers, like painters, anybody who's artistic, because they want somebody who has like an artistic mindset working on their team. Because like, I don't know, I feel like Apple is like kind of embodies that. They're trying to like be more artistic with the things they create.
Yes, super design focused.
Yeah. And it's kind of hard because like when you're a developer, it's very easy to like chase the money because there's so much money in it. So like, why would you be an artist when you could like make $1 billion like unicorn? You know what I'm saying? So like that is always like, I guess, might be the reason why there's not that many artists within
It's hard not to chase the money. I'm guilty of that too. It's hard. I mean, there's a lot of high paying jobs and opportunities in this industry and free flowing VC money.
Definitely.
I don't know. I want to be a voice like counter to that though. I like make shit for fun. You don't have to monetize stuff. Like just goof around and like have fun with your friends and actually make some cool stuff.
I think you made a great point because like I feel like it's so on the cusp where computer science has just been used for like, oh, we just solved problems with this.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been like, oh, like what else can we do with it? Not only just solving problems, right? Like we can do other stuff with it. Like we can do creative stuff. We can create things with it. So it's like, I think that aspect hasn't been explored as much, right? It's more like, oh, we needed to get this done, so let's get it done with code.
Oh, totally.
Right? But like, it hasn't been the other way where it's like, oh, what else can we do with this, right? It's not like, oh, just sending data from here to here, right? Like that's what 90% of code does, right? Like, so.
Yeah, I wish it would, and I get it. Like people, I mean, most people get into. I got into this money for this industry for the money. I get it. Like the pay is nice.
Everyone,
everyone's in it for the money initially.
Yeah,
like,
and I want to say that that's okay too. Like
that's
okay. It's not a bad thing, right? Like getting we make a decent livable wage. Yeah, exactly.
I don't think you should talk down on people who like chose a career path for the money.
Yeah.
Because that means they made an informed decision. Like they didn't just like go into it just because like they wanted to. They made an informed decision.
Yeah.
I mean, also it's like one of the nicest jobs for the money, right? Like, to
Yeah.
be honest, right?
It's
so
fun.
whatever you're getting paid, whatever you're getting paid is like, that's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
For what you're doing.
I totally agree. I do feel like, you know, it took me forever to figure that out too. I'm glad you guys figured it out when you were like so young. I got to school. I didn't feel like I became good at programming until I was like 26. It was like, yeah, it just took me I was just so fucking bad at it for so long. It wasn't until I like started enjoying it till I like got.
Yeah,
really
I think that's always the threshold for people. It's like first you have to get it.
Yeah.
Right? Once you get it, you're like, okay, I got it now, right?
Yeah.
But then you have to do something where it takes it to like a next step where you're like, oh, I actually like doing this side of it, and then that's like, I think that's the true step you make.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I don't know. And again, if you never experience, I have a lot of friends who do tech and like they never feel that joy and they do it and they make money and they go home and play, go fishing.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm
Great.
sure.
Go for it. I do think though, if like you want to like make it big, I think you do have to figure out where that is for you to kind of like take you to the next level.
Yeah.
I think it does take.
Did you do anything like aside from tech prior to getting into it? Like more on the artistic creative side?
I don't know, like nothing serious. I was in, like bands and I do shitty art projects and I wanted to be a manga artist and I was in middle school and high school.
Oh, shit.
And then like, I don't
Same
draw
here.
anymore. I know, right? I wish I could still.
Paris loves anime. Paris loves anime, by the way.
Anime.
Do okay. I'm not like I'm just catching up on One Punch Man season 2 right now. That's literally what I was doing right before I walked over into my office. I'm just catching up. It's making me miss those old days. But not really like anymore though. Like not really. I'm sure you guys can relate to this too. I work and then I make content and then I think about making content and I never stop working or thinking about work. And this is not a good model that anyone should follow. I
get in that cycle too much. Yeah.
I think that's what we do.
It's too hard not to.
It's also like sometimes you want to
Burnout
do
is
other
real.
stuff too, and you're just like, dude, I'm just stuck in the cycle. Like I work, and then I make my videos, and then I'm tired, and I just go sleep. And I'm like, you just get stuck in that loop, right? Like,
yeah.
And y'all make it look so easy too. Like you guys come on here, and you're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, but it's hard. Like consistently making content is hard, and working and being a programmer and studying and leveling.
Yeah.
It never ends.
Yeah, I'm ready to quit
endless.
now. Just kidding.
Yeah, it's and I feel like I'm lucky. Like my job is to like teach concepts that are brand new, so I'm always like on the cutting edge of tech, writing articles, making contents about them.
Yeah.
But not everyone has that luxury of like learning on the job. And I've had jobs too where like I'm not paid to learn. I mean, I'm a code monkey, writing forms and connecting them up to an API and connecting tubes of data.
Yeah, it's like nothing new to you, right? Like
exactly. You're using like
we're just
jQuery or
connecting
some old React component or something, and whatever. And that's fine too. It's hard. It's hard to get out of that stuff though. If you're like in that hole, it can be hard to jump out of.
Definitely.
So if I told you, Joe, to like build if I hired you to build a web app, what would be your tech stack? I'm assuming MongoDB would be in it. React, you have React.
Andrew, that's a very good guess.
Now, what else would you use? Is that pretty much your tech stack?
No, is everyone here like web people?
I'm web. I love web development.
I'm back end.
Are you, Krystal? What's your?
I'm web and back end.
I mean, I'm a student, but I just don't do front end. I suck at it.
That's fine. I'm full stack. So like I was the front end technical lead at Best Buy, so I was doing a lot of like React and stuff like that, node-based microservices. And obviously now I work for MongoDB, but that's all back end stuff. I do like my job today generally focuses on the Node and JavaScript community and like building full stack apps. Most of my questions are about beginners, like how do I get MongoDB data onto the front ends and trying to like watch how to actually do that. That being said, so MongoDB is what I do use. Obviously that's my job. It's actually not a bad database for like general purpose stuff. It works great for a lot of stuff. But I'm big into serverless right now. I haven't built a server probably a year now.
Serverless? No server?
Serverless. No server. Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that. What is that?
Like Lambda functions, AWS Lambda functions is probably
okay.
most well known. Or like MongoDB. We have our own thing that plays really nicely if you're using a MongoDB database, but I just write functions. Like we have triggers, so like a data changes, automatically runs a JavaScript function that does something and notifies someone with an email or does something or triggers this or does security check for this. But it's just lighter, easier. Setting up Express server with like routes or whatever is like a big pain in the ass. So I just
it really is, yeah. That's always annoying, setting up
Yeah.
the REST API and whatever.
right, and then like all of us
Yeah.
just want to worry about building the business use case for whatever app we're doing, and I can
Yeah.
do that easy. I'm just saving some data, easy. Set up some serverless functions, and I'm typically using like a static front end. So like Next.js has been kind of my big thing.
Yes,
Same.
Next.js is very
Vercel's very nice to deploy with.
Yes,
I must
they're all
say.
great. Big fan. They're like super performant. They're really easy, and like
Yeah.
they work really well for a serverless backend. So and just like it's a static front end, then just hitting a serverless endpoint, and then getting some data, and then bring it back. So like 99% of the time, that's
Very lightweight. Nice.
yeah, easy, fast. It's super quick and easy. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
you lose some control, but like again, for 99% of apps, you're probably fine. Unless it's something super
Yeah, I really like Netlify for deploying the static websites.
They make it so
Pretty
easy.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so easy to do. It literally takes 2 seconds. You build it and then you do Netlify deploy. That's it,
Yeah.
and you're done. It's that simple.
It's wild. You know what I think? Like generally speaking, like devs are smart and really good at solving problems and learning new tech. But like the easiest solution always wins. It always
Mhm.
wins. Like it's something easier than like Heroku Heroku's actually still really great. Like that's super easy for deploying
Heroku's
stuff.
good. Yeah.
But
Salesforce,
Next.js
I
is
work
even
at
easier.
Salesforce, so
Oh,
I
yeah.
should back Heroku.
That's
Heroku's
your
awesome.
yeah. That's your horse. That's totally your
So,
horse now. Yeah, that's such a great acquisition by them, by the way. But yeah, Next.js, I think it's easy. And I want to say this again about databases too. Like devs don't give a shit about all the nuts and bolts of it most of the time. Like there are cases where you do have to care about that,
Yeah.
if you're Amazon size or whatever. But we just want to save data and get it back as easy as possible. Just how
Exactly.
make that easy for me.
Yeah.
I think that's huge. What do you guys run in this year? What's your preferred tech stacks?
I like using React for the front end.
Yeah.
I like to like decouple the front end and the back end. For the back end, I like using Django, which is a
Love
web
it.
framework using Python. I don't know. I
Yeah.
just always used it. It was the first web framework I learned. So I just built basically like a REST API, and I just have them talk to each other.
Love
And
it.
Django plays best with PostgreSQL. So that's literally the only reason why I use PostgreSQL. But I will check out MongoDB just for you,
Hey,
Joe.
No.
Just
you're
for
fine,
you.
man.
I'm gonna check
You're
it out.
You're fine. I'm just razzing you. It's I do love Postgres. It's amazing. It's one of the longest running open source projects in history. It's super stable. It's battle tested. I have nothing but good
If
things
we
to say
switch
about
over
Postgres.
though, if we switch over to MongoDB on our project, do we get free merch?
I can get you.
Yeah.
I can get you. I could probably get you guys a couple $100 in Atlas credits. I know this has been the thing. We've had so many fights about trying to get swag out to people because the two questions I get asked always are like, "How do I get swag?" and then "How do I work at MongoDB?"
And you just tell them apply to the website.
I do. That is my go-to.
99% of
Just
the time.
figure. Yeah, only one way to find out, baby. Get that apply button. And swag has been so hard. We have not figured out how to scale up swag in COVID. Like, I don't know. I wish because I get like shipping to like individual people, like a T-shirt is like expensive, but I don't know. That's not my job, so I haven't been able to crack that nut. But tell you what, though, we might. Who knows? Let me call some. Let me call some people. Maybe I'll hook up.
Make some phone calls.
You don't have to.
Maybe I'll cook it up. We'll see what happens though. It's tough though. But yeah, you should totally switch over. You need to. You should just change. You should rewrite your whole app
Just everything.
tomorrow. Yeah, exactly.
Rewrite
Doge
House and use
Facts,
MongoDB for
facts.
everything.
Can you imagine?
What database? Oh, I think Ben likes SQL and GraphQL.
Yeah. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
GraphQL.
Yeah.
Love it. Also, there's another plug. We just came out with this feature. No one knows about it. But like
Exclusive? We're getting an
MongoDB, yeah, it came out like a couple months ago, but like it didn't make any news. I think it's super fucking rad though. But MongoDB can now auto-generate a GraphQL endpoint for you because we understand your types, your data structure.
Oh, really?
So we can
That's sick.
you literally hit a button and it generates an entire
Yeah.
serverless GraphQL endpoint for
Wow.
you, operations.
That's pretty sick.
I know that's like what I do now. I just like
Yeah.
set up a schema with my database, hit a button, I have a GraphQL endpoint, and just make some queries to it. Yeah, GraphQL is super
Guys,
nice.
there's a fake Scott Hanselman in the audience. I think that's just his picture.
Oh my god.
Sorry, we're not taking speakers. We don't even know who you are.
That's right. That could be Scott. We were just talking about him.
We were just talking about you, bud.
He probably heard us. That's yeah, no, that's hilarious. I think Scott was doing a thing with GitHub today or something. I don't know. Fake Scott, we love you, but
It could be real Scott.
Could be real Scott.
So
real Scott.
Wait, hold on. It is real Scott.
That's real Scott.
I'm live right now. Scott,
Oh my
come
God.
on. We didn't know it was you.
I like how we called him a
Request to
fraud.
speak again.
We called him a fraud.
Scott, don't leave us.
Oh, he's at Chipotle, he says. Wait.
Oh,
Never
that is
mind.
too funny.
That's
How do you
so
hear
funny.
about us? That is so funny.
Because I'm live on TikTok right now, so
That's funny.
he's on my.
So he
my
probably
TikTok
he probably
live.
hopped
Yeah.
over.
Oh my God, Scott.
Sorry for
Okay.
calling you fake.
Yeah, we love you, Scott. Oh my God, I wish we could like roll back and like talk about when we were raving about him 30 minutes ago.
Right?
Yeah, that was it. We talked about it at the beginning. It's
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
30
that's
minutes.
too funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Who knew? That's we have 3 listeners and Scott Hanselman joined us. No, that's amazing. I was on Scott's podcast like probably a year ago now. It's like right at the beginning of COVID. But yeah, I love Tom Hanselman. It's and he moderated a couple conferences I was at too, which was really sweet. He'd be a great guest. You should pull him on.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a little scary to have Scott on our podcast.
That's so
Because
good.
he's like a legend in the field.
In the podcast realm.
Yeah.
In the
totally.
podcast realm.
Yeah.
Oh, that is too amazing. That's amazing.
It's
Well, I hope he
scary.
enjoys Chipotle and listening to us yabber on. The perfect background noise for a Chipotle.
Right? Oh my god. Anyway, okay, let's get back on track. What were we even talking about?
Actually,
I got
so I was
totally
asking.
I don't remember. What
I'm
we were
curious
talking
about y'all about how you balance your work and doing this content too. Like, is that tricky?
I burn out all the time. I
Yeah.
don't. There's no balancing for me.
Yeah, I mean, same here,
I
dude.
usually go full force, and then I burn out, and then I
Yeah.
like take a week
Same
off,
here.
and then
Yeah.
I'm not consistent at all. I just, yeah, it's
That would
not.
be hard. I
it's
get
not
the
healthy.
consistency. Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I don't know. It's like for me, it's like for content creation and like my work, I
Yeah.
make like that stuff's required, right? So like I just get that done, and then it's like I'm also like working on my startup stuff. So then that's the stuff that like sacrifices sometimes. It's like, yo, I'm too dead like today, like this week, right? And it's like
Yeah.
I don't get anything done, and it's like, oh my god, I gotta get stuff done now, right? And it's like it's balancing that. It's like also getting that in. It's like I'm on like 3 edges, you know, and it's like I'm pushing on all 3, but it's like one always fades. You know, you can focus on 2, but at least for me.
Yeah, so I mean,
totally get
yeah.
that.
I mean, so for me, like I remember like one day we were on a podcast and Para said that he's been posting every single day for like a year or something like that. I'm like, man, like that's a really good goal to have as like a content creator. So like,
Yeah.
I just thought like, what can I do so like I can just like meet the goal of posting every single day, not really caring about the quality of the video. So I guess I just like went with that goal and just like scheduled, or I guess like I just formatted my schedule around that. So yeah, so basically I just spent like an hour a day, like, you know, making a leak code problem, and I just like posted it every single day, first thing in the morning.
Nice.
And just like,
Wow.
that's all the content creation I do, just 1 hour a day.
Yeah.
And that's been
And
working
Andrew,
for me.
It's been going great. I love those videos.
No,
are
it has
awesome.
been doing extremely well. So good job on that.
Appreciate it.
I can't commit to posting every day because I will fail.
I'm like taking notes. Leak code once a day. Oh my god.
That's
like,
intense.
no. And
That's intense
Para,
stuff.
he's been doing it for so long. Like he won't go to bed until he has something recorded for the next day. Like this guy is like on it.
Are we talking
That's
Paris right
amazing.
now?
Yeah, we're talking
Yeah,
Paris right
yeah.
now.
Oh,
But
for
but
sure.
we can talk about you too. Andrew wakes up at like 4 a.m. just to do this, by the way.
Are you
He
serious?
literally wakes up at 4 a.m. just so he can be
I don't know
in
how he
peace
does that.
sleep.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's the only time I can
That's why.
focus. The world is too chaotic if I wait like 2 hours later to wake up, because like there's like
Yeah.
cars everywhere, there's people talking. It's just like too much
Yeah.
for like my introverted like brain. So like I need complete silence to be focused. That's why
That's
the morning's
incredible,
perfect for
y'all.
me. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I read about these things like, wake up at 4 a.m., go for a jog, meditate. And like, these sound like really
They sound great.
Yeah,
They sound great.
These sound so helpful.
The idea is great.
I will
but
never
the
do that.
execution's hard. Yeah.
And I was doing that for a little bit. I was like getting up early like Andrew.
Yeah.
But then like I had one night where I stayed up too late and then just
That's
that
the problem.
entire
The hardest part for me has always been is when you go to sleep at night. And it's like if you don't sleep at a consistent time at night, it's impossible. Like it's literally impossible.
I totally agree. You know what so Krystal, you were touching on this too. For me, it's like consistency. And I find this is a broad oversimplification generalization, but like I feel like creative people have a hard time with consistency. Not with everyone. I know I struggle with it. Like I get in a big creative slumps or like I feel manic and then I get depressed and then like it stops.
Yeah.
It's just like hard for me to be consistent with that.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like you like plow through that, or like do you feel like you get burnt out? Like
no, I
get burnt out to do that.
I basically every single day I have no idea what I'm gonna do that day, right?
Yeah, I do that.
And I'm not joking. I literally every day I have no idea. Like right now I have no idea what I'm gonna make later today, but I end up doing it anyway, and it ends up working out. So it's like that's how I approach it, right? So it's like I go there, I sit down, I try to think of something, right? Like anything, sometimes like even the shittiest idea ends up being like a 1 million view video and you never know, so it's like that kind of interaction. It's like TikTok doesn't work the regular way where you're like, oh my god, this is a great idea, and it like that video might get 100 views and then the next day you'll be like, oh my god, it got 100,000 views on a shittier idea than I did the other day, right? Like so it doesn't make sense like that. So it like you shouldn't also like put where it's like, oh, it has to be a good idea to create the video. It's like you just make the video and then just see what happens, right? Like that's the idea. Like that's the approach I've taken.
Mm-hmm.
No, we've come to the conclusion the more shit posting it is, the better it works. Because like the more effort you put into it, like it just doesn't get the traction that you want.
It doesn't at all.
I agree. You're touching on something too. I hear from like a lot of newbies who are like, how do I build an online presence or whatever? It's like
you just shit
like,
post.
Like
post.
Now, post some stupid shit you're thinking about.
Yes.
Like I could
literally
post
anything.
5 things, and the one video that I think that would do well does the shittiest. Like the video that I put the least amount of effort in does well.
I always give like this example is like one time, when was that, Krystal? Like back in like December or something. I like tried really hard and I started like filming my videos outside of the TikTok app. And like using the ring light and everything, trying to be a real influencer, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
And then those videos were flopping, and I'm like, dude, I'm putting like an hour more work into every video, and it like that does nothing for my
do the bathroom mirror
views, right? It's like the bathroom mirror videos get tens of millions of views, right? And it's like, dang, like so. Then I was just like, screw it, I'm not putting any effort anymore. I'm just gonna make a video and be done with it, right? Like.
I haven't posted for like 2 weeks. You guys are inspiring me to get in. Just
no, and the thing is, I'm like you, Joe. Like where I'll go like full force for like a week or two, and like I'm posting every day. I'm posting.
Krystal
like 3-4
sometimes posts like 5 times a day.
I know, but that's when I'm like on it, right? But then I'll burn out because I have that. I have school. I have the podcast. I have like shit that we have to post for our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and then I get burnt out, and then like for a week I just don't post anything. Like this last week I haven't posted shit. So like it's hard to stay consistent, and that's why I refuse to commit to the everyday thing like Paras and Andrew has done, because I am just setting myself up to fail. There's no way I'd be able to commit to that.
Especially because you're a student, though. I remember when I was a student, I was just so overwhelmed.
When you're a student, you can't do anything.
Are you legit in school right now, Krystal?
Mentality.
I'm legit in school right now.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I know. It's the worst. It's like
when I was in school, like. It was just like you'd want to do stuff outside of school, but it's like that just envelops your life. So
no way.
Like sometimes you can't do anything.
I'm trying to imagine if like TikTok had existed when I went to college, and like I don't know if I could have done that and like functioned. I'm impressed.
It's hard.
It's one of the, I mean, I'm sure it's one of those things like you put priorities in certain stuff in your life. You have school and TikTok, and like friends gotta go, or like you may not see your family as much. You know what I mean? It's just like you just only have time for a certain amount of stuff.
Yeah. How was college for you? How was college for you, Joe?
Oh, I sucked at it. If my CS professors knew I was here talking to you about programming, they would have a meltdown.
They'd have a meltdown.
They'd be worried.
They're like, what the future of programming is fucked. Yeah, no, that was not a good. I didn't care. So like the thing is, I started going to school in 2008, which was the last economic recession we had, one of many. But like my biggest motivator was I told you I wanted to be a manga artist, right? And like I was big into art, and I got a minor in art history, but I did computer science just out of fear because I was scared about getting a job after because it was just a shitty economy at the time. And then I graduated and resented it, and I hated it, and I had no passion for it. And even all through school, I just did enough to pass. It was awful. I sucked at it. I think I've gotten good at it now, but it took me a long ass time to get there.
I don't even know if they had React in 2008. I can't imagine a world without React.
They didn't.
2009 is when the first commit dropped.
Yep.
No, not at all. I don't know how schools work these now. I taught at a boot camp, but I don't even know if I didn't learn anything about programming. I learned about like graph theory and
I love graph theory.
You learn like the real
graph theory is dope.
Right?
Yeah, Turing machines.
Oh my god.
Finite state machines.
Algorithms.
Yeah, I love
right?
finite machines.
I didn't know how to build an app.
I like learning about these things, right? But then, like, once I'm now in the more like programming side. Like, I got all of my math done. I got all that crazy math stuff done. And now I'm on the programming side, and I'm just sitting here like, do I really need to because I'm hearing every day on TikTok from you guys like, you don't really need school, like you just need to like learn how to do lead code to get a job. And it's like it's hard to stay motivated in school when you know you don't need it. You're just doing it for that stamp of approval from your college to like be able to like even apply to jobs.
It's crazy. Like I would say by your junior year, you're like already good to get a job, but it's like you got 1 year left. That's the crazy part about college. At least that's how I felt.
Did you guys get CS degrees or are you self-taught?
So I have a CS degree.
I did computer engineering.
Cool. My personal opinion, I like taught at a boot camp. I got a CS degree, and like I've hired people who are self-taught. I do think like a degree is useful for like networking with peers too, and also it's like it's a fast route to getting more money in tech and getting hired. Like it's harder to get hired as a self-taught engineer than supposed to having a degree.
Well, how do you feel about boot camps versus university?
I think it's some of the best engineers I've ever worked with are boot camp students or people I've taught.
Really?
Like and same with CS students. I was a shitty CS engineer when I graduated. Like that was no good indicator. I would have rather hired someone that came out of my boot camp.
Do they have a harder time getting a job than university students if you came out of a boot camp?
Probably. You guys may actually know more about this than I do. I feel like it's shifting. I think generally the industry is more open to it.
So,
but like the lead code interviews is like I think proof that there's still a expectation you have a computer like a traditional CS degree and you learning that stuff.
So boot camps used to be better than university. So university used to have like really low conversions, but boot camps used to have like 90% conversions when they first came out. When was that? Like mid 2010s, right?
Yeah.
Boot camps were the thing, and then now the percentages are lower. They're like 60, 50%, something like that on the conversions there. They say, I think a lot of places say higher, but you can't trust those because they're all private companies.
Oh, I know.
So they can say whatever they want, right?
Yeah.
Like they're all bullshit. So
yeah, I agree.
But now the percentage are definitely lower because now there's so many more boot camps, right? Like you can look like boot camps in like 2015, there's probably like 3 or 4, right? Like now there's like hundreds maybe, right? So
a lot of shit.
So it's like impossible to
do your research.
It's impossible to do that. Yeah.
I like what some boot camps do. It depends on like how the payment scheme goes, but some boot camps they do it like so it's like they'll have 20% instead of you paying $10,000 for the boot camp, you'll pay 20% of your salary for the next like 5 years or something like that. I kind of like that a little bit because like it just guarantees that you'll get a job, and if you don't, you don't have to pay anything. Yeah.
You're probably paying more in the long run, but like it does lower like people who didn't have that upfront money or can't get a loan. I think that lowers a lot more people in.
Even for them, it's pretty shady. So what they do is they like bundle your risk and then they sell them off to other people. So that's how they work. Yeah. So it's like there'll be like some risk calculation, right? So on these set of students, what's the risk that they're actually going to get a job versus they're not, right? And it's like then they sell it off based off that risk, right? And then the person knows that at least I'll get this much conversion and this much profit or whatever right off.
You're expecting a certain degree of failure even in that.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So
that makes sense. I mean,
they play by the numbers. It's kind of inhumane, right? Like when you think about it like that way, right? It's
like
people,
but, students' lives.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, like that's how it works, right? That's what they did with. That's what they do with everything. That's what they do with cars and houses and whatever. They just sell off liability. That's how it works.
I just got called out in the chat for interrupting y'all.
Oh my god.
Who called you? What?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry, Big Chungus. I'm getting too excited about what everyone's saying. I want to jump in.
Who Big Chungus is?
I'm pretty sure I've interrupted Joe at least 5 times through this chat, so it's fine.
It's completely fine.
It's fine because that's usually me doing that. So it's good to know there are other people out there like you.
Yeah, no, that's so good. I'll zip it. I love what you guys are saying though. You guys are so good. It sounds like my mic is louder or something. Maybe. Oh, I don't know. Who knows?
Like I only hear you. Wait, you can't hear us?
Maybe I'm louder. Maybe it's mixed weird. Maybe my microphone's cranked up to 11 or something.
Wait, none of us?
I can hear. I'm listening to y'all through Dojo.
Wait, Big Chungus, refresh the page real quick and check.
Oh yeah, that sometimes happens.
We're gonna wrap up in a little bit anyway, Paras. So we can wrap up in like 5 minutes. Wait, what?
Big Chungus, reload your page if you're having issues.
That happens all the time.
Sometimes Doge has some weird problems with that, so just try that real quick.
Okay. I may have also been interrupting you, but it sounds like there also may have been problems with.
Yeah, I think there might have been. Yeah. It might have been the problems. I don't know if it was the interruption. What was I gonna say?
Okay, yeah. So they just needed to refresh. It works now. Okay.
There we go. Okay. It's like we all forgot what we were talking about.
Yeah, we did.
All the time.
Oh yeah. I just wanted to ask you this, like, last question, maybe. Like, so I recently heard about Developer Advocate, and so one, how do you get that kind of job, and two, what is it like being a developer advocate?
Yes. Oh yeah. Someone was asking about my dream job earlier. I neglected to answer that. I currently have my dream job. I have no plans to leave developer advocacy anytime soon. It's been a long time dream of mine. Okay, so here's a couple things about developer advocacy. It's really hard to get a job as a junior developer advocate. Pretty much everyone gets hired on as a senior principal, which is tricky. I hope that changes. But the thing too, it helps to have a community or a proven track record of producing highly technical or engaging technical content. I think having a podcast is a great way to start with that. But I encourage people who are interested in doing. Well, maybe we should talk about what developer advocacy is first, and then we can talk about how to do it.
Yeah, maybe maybe I'd be good at that.
Yeah, I think everyone here would be really great at it. So a developer advocate, it means a lot of different things at every company. Sometimes it means a community manager. Sometimes it means you're speaking at conferences. Sometimes it means you're a technical writer. At my job, I do all the above. So my job is basically to make cool developer content for the developer community. I'm not a salesperson. I work under the engineering department. I consider myself an engineer first and foremost. I think it helps to be a full-on engineer to become a developer advocate, because I think you need to be able to speak technically, authentically to a developer audience.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, the content you produce has to be way better than anyone else's. I'm producing content for people who've never used MongoDB. It has to be clear. It has to be well commented. You have to have fucking great variable names. It has to be very clear, simplified, abstracted, but not too abstracted.
Yeah, you have to basically almost create a course every time you create the content.
Exactly. Right? We're starting from scratch, and we're teaching you some sort of technical concept to what we're doing here. But the idea is to MongoDB is a great example. But most company or most products using today are like this, right? Traditional marketing doesn't work with developers. A commercials doesn't work. We don't give a shit about pamphlets. We're even we have bullshit detectors for sponsored conference talks. We stopped engaging. But if you can make stuff that actually is useful, and we're hoping people have a good feeling about the product if we can make cool, useful stuff for the developer community and speak authentically and engage with those communities. But yeah, so things I do this past year, I've been the lead on reviewing the Node technical documentation. Does it make sense? The issues? Do I need to review stuff? I've written demos in a bunch of different programming languages, Spring, Go. I've done live streams. I made YouTube videos. I've written technical articles. I've spoken at conferences. I've answered questions on our community forums and Stack Overflow and Twitter. It's like whatever the developer community needs, I can kind of step in and do it. It's not a good job if you're not willing to be flexible or like be able to wear many hats. And it really helps to be like technically competent. And I think you don't have to do all those things. I think that may be rare. But yeah, start a podcast, make TikToks, make YouTube videos. We just hired someone just because he has 150,000 YouTube like followers. Like
Dang.
got a proven track record of
cool.
making engaging technical content on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah, definitely.
Just make shit. That's all I'm saying. Just make cool stuff for developers. Make a podcast. And how did I do it? I just started. I got started through the public speaking circuit. So I started speaking at local meetups, and then within 6 months, I was on the main stage of the world's largest Node and JavaScript conference talking about my work.
Whoa!
It just it escalated so quickly for me. Like just and I was.
Can I please go to your TED Talk?
Actually, I am giving a TED Talk.
Oh, wait, can I go?
Wait, a TED Talk? An actual TED
Is it live?
Talk?
Is it going to be live?
It's not pre-recorded.
Oh,
it's
Okay, well, can I go to your TED Talk when you?
Yeah. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll definitely see me posting about it. I'm pretty excited about it. I hope it doesn't suck.
That's cool.
We'll see what happens. But
Wait, it's virtual though, right?
it is. Yeah, and
I'll go to there. I'll go to your virtual one too.
Yeah, I think it's just gonna be a YouTube video dropping on some TED channel or something. Probably. I don't know. I actually have no idea what the hell's gonna happen with it. But yeah, I don't know. It's just make cool shit. Public speaking. Yeah, I started writing and streaming, but yeah, and then actually, so I was speaking at the world's largest Node JavaScript conference. MongoDB was there. I was like, hey, my boss had just yelled at me at Best Buy for being gone too often speaking, and then I told them to come to my talk, and they came, and they were impressed, and I got an offer.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know, just like asking. I'm also for people who can't see me on Doge House, I'm a white man, so I have extreme white man privilege. I
love how he admits
your
it.
mileage may vary with my career advice. I realize other people and genders and races don't have the same level of privilege I do in
you
tech,
guys will see the recording on YouTube. So
okay, good. Yeah, you can
check it out.
experience my whiteness
extremely white
in the
man,
flesh.
too.
Yes, exactly. Imagine the most amount of privilege, and I am embodying that on the stage right now. No. I just wanted, like, that worked for me. Who the hell knows? Things have changed. We're in COVID now. There's no public speaking. I'm a white dude, so. But point is, just go make shit. That's all I'm trying to say.
All right. I think we're probably gonna wrap up, Paras, because I think it's been over an hour.
Yeah, it's good. All right. Yeah, thanks, Joe, for coming on.
You have so much energy.
Yeah. It was really awesome having you on. I hope you come back.
This. We need
You've inspired me.
This was really fun.
I need you on actually more often. Like, I'm just gonna
you should have me on.
We need to get Joe on more often.
Because we need this energy.
Yeah.
We almost got Scott Hanselman with me on here. Maybe we'll get him again next
time.
Okay,
guys, I'm gonna ask Scott Hanselman. Like, I've been hesitant to ask him because like we're such noobs. But I'm down to ask him now that we're a little bit more seasoned.
Yeah, just ask.
We got Joe on it. Come on, we're the big leagues now. We're the big leagues.
You know what he said? He said that he came on because Jess told him. So Rubber Ducky works at Microsoft.
Oh, nice.
So Rubber
Jess
Ducky
was our inside man in that case.
He was a guest of ours before. She works at Microsoft.
Is that Film Girl Jess? Who's let me see if I can find her in the chat here.
She's not here anymore.
Okay, Jess Wang, got it. Okay, cool. Got it.
Yeah, Jess Wang. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, you should totally ask that. He would probably do it.
Let's try to get him.
Well, thanks for having me on here, y'all. This has been so much fun.
This was fun.
Yes.
Thank you for coming on.
I'm frozen. Just wait for me to unfreeze.
Can I put a plug in? Follow me on Twitter at Joe Karlsson1. That's my first and last name. Or on TikTok. That's just Joe Karlsson, no numbers. Also, keep an eye on. I'll be making lots of YouTube videos on the MongoDB YouTube channel, so Joe, check those out.
Someone in chat is asking if you have a GitHub.
I do. Same thing, Joe Karlsson.
Throw it in chat if you want.
Yes, I will do all that. Actually,
Paras, are you gonna? Okay.
I don't know what. Like, Wi-Fi is a strange thing. All right.
This is true.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for coming on, Joe. Yeah. Joe plugged his GitHub, his TikTok. Check out everything. We'll put it in the description below on YouTube and on Spotify. So yeah, thank you guys. And see you next time. Peace.
Okay,
Peace.
bye.
Bye.